So in this region,
Yeah.
the Arctic is of supreme concern from a
Yes.
national security perspective. The ice is melting.
Yes.
Majority of scientists attribute that to global warming, but the end result is there's a potential for an Arctic area for trade routes.
Correct.
Also tapping into the natural resources there. How does the United States gain an edge in dominating that?
Well, look, it's a great question. It's really important. You're mentioning trade routes that are opening up. We've already talked about natural resources, which are huge up in the Arctic. And what we need to do is recognize that we're an Arctic nation. We're an Arctic nation because of Alaska. And look, this has not always been a priority of previous administrations. What we're doing up here, we're rebuilding our military. The One Big Beautiful Bill certainly does it. As I mentioned, you know, Alaska exudes military might. We're the cornerstone of missile defense, and we're going to be the cornerstone of the President's Golden Dome initiative. We are the hub of air combat power. You're seeing them flying over here. We have over 100 fifth-generation fighters based in Alaska. We have a brand new U.S. Army Airborne Division up here. So we are building out our military, which is great, but also building out our Arctic capabilities. And again, in the One Big Beautiful Bill, almost $26 billion investment in the Coast Guard, which is the biggest investment in the Coast Guard in American history by far. 16 icebreakers coming with that, 22 cutters, 40 helicopters, a bunch of shoreside infrastructure. A lot of that's going to be in Alaska to defend the Arctic. And we need to defend the Arctic because, as you and I have talked about, the Russians and the Chinese are in our waters and in our airspace all the time, including doing joint operations up here, which is unprecedented.
I wanted to ask you about that because the war in Ukraine has hurt Russia's finances, made it more dependent on Beijing, including when it comes to exploring up and around the Arctic. They had a joint bomber task force.
Correct.
Come here, pretty darn close.
Oh, they were in our ADIZ, as we call it.
The Air Defense Identification Zone.
Correct.
So are you concerned this actually becomes a flashpoint?
I think this is already becoming a flashpoint. I mean, the number of times that the Russians and Chinese are doing joint strategic bomber task forces in our airspace and joint naval task forces in our EEZ, in our waters.
In the economic zone.
Yes, that's happening on a regular basis now. That's unprecedented. They don't do joint operations anywhere else on America's borders, that's for sure.
Well, the Republican chair of the Armed Services Committee and the Appropriations Committee says there is far more needed for the U.S. military than what has been provided by the White House in their budget.
We need to do more, and we certainly need to keep it above 3% of GDP and growing towards 4 or 5% of GDP. It's a dangerous world right now. But this One Big Beautiful Bill, the Budget Reconciliation Bill, does a lot for our military right now on urgent needs. Shipbuilding, as you and I have talked about. Our Navy, our ability to build ships is completely atrophied. Weapons and ammo systems, the Golden Dome.
I know you have your own proposal, but has the Pentagon told you what the Golden Dome is?
Right, I mean, I've been working on this with the Pentagon. This is missile defense that is layered missile defense. So what that means is, right here, like I said, you have the ground-based missile interceptor, the missile interceptors in Alaska. You have all the radar systems in Alaska that protect the whole country in terms of ballistic missiles. We have new threats. We have hypersonics. We have drones. We have, heck, even we've seen it here in Alaska, spy balloons. What we need to do is upgrade the system with what's called a layered defense. Not just the ground-based system here, but you work it more with different systems, Aegis Ashore, THAAD, and then including space-based systems, both for tracking and intercepting, and you do that with an open architecture in terms of software to integrate those systems. So I am very familiar with what the Golden Dome is doing, and I'm leading the effort in the Senate on it. And by the way, my state is the cornerstone of all the missile defense right now, and will continue to be so.
You can find more from our interview with Dan Sullivan on our website, Face the Nation.